All right, the last, not argument again, but support for this view is that it democratizes morality, which seems to engender solidarity in the community, in the morality. And again, I say this is not an argument for it. It doesn't prove cultural relativism, but if cultural relativism were true, then this would be a nice thing that we would get. So maybe we want to believe in it, kind of a thing. So there's something to this support too. I think it is remarkable how people tend to change their perspective to the majority perspective. You know, in the United States, sociologists have done studies on how much the public opinion changes when the law changes. All of a sudden, that's what dictates what's right and wrong. You know, people will say, "Oh, we all voted. Okay, then that must be wrong." Also, I think that when you give people a say in things, right, even if they disagree with it, as long as they feel like they've been heard, they buy in. You know, they might disagree with you still, but they will say, "Well, you know, I feel like everybody had a chance to listen to what I had to say. I think I was valued, and okay, we don't agree, but let's go forward." You know, I noticed that as a boss in the Air Force, where I was, I made sure my guys were their opinions were respected, and we implemented them whenever we could. And sometimes I said, "No, we're not going to do that," and they were, "Okay, boss, let's do something else." You know, do what you got for us. And it was awesome, you know. Like if you love people and you respect them and you take them seriously, and you don't feel like you have to always micromanage everybody, all of a sudden stuff that you wanted to get done starts getting done, and they're happy for it. You know, I had a great airman. I remember Hammer, and poor guy. Like I remember I put him in all these projects, and I gave him everything that he could to do well with them, and he would just take off on these things, man. Like he would be like, "Captain, you know, like past quitting time, Captain, we got to get this and this done. Hamburg, go home." You know, like it's okay, it'll get done. You know, but because I respected, you know, what he had to say, you know, because he had a voice and all that, man, you know, he bought in. It was awesome, man. He was a great kid. I miss that guy, Hammer. Great guy. So it does seem like this democratization of morality is helpful, and yet there are also some drawbacks to this. So a philosopher named Alexis de Tocqueville, a French philosopher, when America was in its infancy, visited and noted all of his thoughts on democracy here. And you should definitely read this book, Democracy in America. In fact, I'll put a link in the description on this outstanding book. But he pointed out a problem called tyranny of the majority. He called tyranny of the majority, which is that if we're just voting on what is right and wrong, then there's going to be these subgroups that are going to be trampled because they are not part of, you know, the majority. So you see this in France with the hijabs, right? People, and if you're French, I mean, I know that there's more than just this, but at the same time, if you were a person that wanted to wear a hijab and all of a sudden you were told that you're not allowed to, right? Because the majority said no, now all of a sudden it feels like, whoa, like I'm getting stomped here just because I'm not, you know, I'm getting outvoted. That seems like a bad thing. So a great thing about democracy is that we have this solidarity, but a bad thing about it is it can trample on the little guy. And a final objection to this argument is that objective morality would do the exact same thing. Objective morality would unite us in the same exact way as long as we were all seeking the correct answer. If we were trying to find what that correct answer was, then we could we would be following it together and you know, arguing like philosophers should argue, you know, like here's why I think it's this, here's why I think it's that. So I don't think it's a matter of cultural relativism. I think it's more of a matter of that mentality that you go in with it, of seeking what's truth, what's good. So yeah, there it is. The different arguments for cultural relativism, some responses to those arguments. If there are any more, I'll come up with some more videos, and then we're going to do objections to cultural relativism, and then in the classroom I'll give you some of those academic ones. That's all I got right now.